Hey everybody, Kneecap here. This is going to be a holy healing guide for Il'gynoth. This is on heroic difficulty, so it'll be a little bit harder than if you're watching this for LFR or normal. As you start the fight, you're going to have two Dominator Tentacles. As a Paladin, I actually beacon the one tank on the left side, and I go stand with the tank on the right side, and kind of make sure that I can keep both of them up if I need to. As they die, you'll see these Ichors come out from them. If you're fixated, you're going to want to get close to the eye and have so your DPS can stun and kill them underneath the eye. You'll also see a Deathglare tentacle up right there. He's casting a Mind Flay that was not interrupted. That'll require some heavy healing to heal through that Mind Flay. A lot of Ichors out. We're going to get them all underneath the eye here. If you have a Elisham like that, he can actually knock them underneath even while they're already starting to blow up. So during that part, if you have a bunch of melee under there and in that and not getting out of it, you just have to be prepared to heal pretty hard for that. You'll probably have a little bit of a dead phase if you have the DPS right here. So a little bit of a dead phase until you're going to get a Nightmare Core up. What you need to know when healing is that this is going to be able to hit the tanks really hard. They're going to be doing a tank swap, and you're just going to have to be able to heal through that. So again, this is kind of a little bit of a dead phase. Good time to get your mana back up. You're just casually healing. See your tanks take damage, you make sure you get them up. And now we have Corruptors coming up. Those need to die fast because they're going to spew corruption. When spew corruption is on you, you have to run away and drop those puddles on the ground. You can see puddles on the ground. Those aren't from corruption, but that's what they'll look like. You see I'm fixated, so I moved underneath the eye. I actually stunned my ad because we weren't ready to clear the Ichors yet, so I didn't get the debuff on me. Speaking of debuff, make sure you're cleansing as much as possible. Me and my healers kind of have a competition to see who can have the most D-spells, so maybe that's one way to look at it. You can see the Nightmare Horse still up, so we got him. Let's see, they pulled. There you go. Elisham knocked him underneath the eye. Gonna get those Ichors down. So my tanks are still taking damage from that Nightmare Horde, but we have all the tentacles down, so we should be able to switch to the Nightmare Horde very soon. And then once we get that down, we'll be in a good shape. There's also just going to be a constant damage that the eye does. He's just going to randomly shoot. If he hits the same player like 3 or 4 times in a row, that's really going to hurt or almost kill him or kill them. So you do want to keep everyone preferably over 50%, at least as much as you possibly can. I think we end up missing one Ichor there. So normally we'd be going inside right now, but we actually missed one. So we killed an Ichor too far away from the eye. So while that was a mess up there, so now we have a Deathglare, and we're going to have 2 Corruptors up over here, and we're going to have to get all of these down. So now we're going to have Spew Corruption and other things out when we really didn't need to. Now we have a ton of Ichors to get down. If you do that perfectly, though, you'll be able to go in right after that Nightmare Horde if you don't miss any of the Ichors, and that'll really, really make it better for you. You'll get in there, you won't have to do as much healing. Okay, so Stuff of Nightmares ended. That means you can go inside. You just have to make sure you kill all the ads before you go inside. You don't want those little guys getting inside, especially not on Heroic. You want all the ads dead, but obviously the Ichors need to die before they get inside. Once you're in here, you need to spread out when you have Cursed Blood on you. And you can see it kind of spread out. It's not the best ideal place for a Holy Paladin, but I put my judgment on the heart here and do as much healing as I possibly can when I'm close, and then I move back out when I have Cursed Blood. Important to note here, we aren't popping Heroism because we didn't quite have the group comp to be able to one-shot the heart phase, so we don't bother popping it in here since we're not going to get it done anyways on the first phase. And what we do is we actually pop it when we get outside and stabilize, so that way we have a very smooth transition into Phase 2. Phase 2 starts off just a little faster than Phase 1. As you can see, I position myself in the back because I trust myself. I use my Cavalier to get out. Sometimes it cuts it a little bit close, but if you trust yourself, you can do it. So now we have 2 Deathglares. It starts just like the beginning of the fight, 2 Deathglares up. We pop Heroism, and you can see both of these actually target me at the ground slam, and I move it completely out of the group there, which was really nice. Never had that happen before where both of them targeted me like that. And you can see you'll start getting the Deathglares up in the back, and you'll probably want your group to switch to those, ideally, and get them interrupted. We just have the melee stick on the Dominator, and kill it with the tanks, and that's how we handle it. And then we have the range get on the Death Glares right away. As you can see, I'm starting to take some debuff from these Ichors on me. Gotta cleanse it up. So now we're saying, you know, get these Ichors underneath, get the Ichors down, get the Ichors down. Elaisham knocks them under. Everyone's healed up, and so that's a very smooth transition there. Now we have another Death Glare up. That's a very, very smooth transition to do it that way. If you're not going to one-shot the heart phase, I do recommend using Hero when you get out. This is going to be the only part where it's a little bit tricky. You're going to have these corruptions up right after you did those, all the Ichors down. So now you had to go all the way over there. You see a bunch of corruption on the ground, just trying to stand in it the best you can. You see I kind of walked through one there. And I'm going to bring them in. I actually dropped a consecration there. Every little damage helps, I suppose. And I think we're going to at least miss one here too. But in the phase 2, it doesn't matter as much because you're going to have plenty of extra. In fact, it's often not very clean going inside on phase 2. But we do have the nice little dead time there again. As you can see, I'm still at basically full mana because of all this dead time we've had. They're going to tank him back there. And soon we'll start getting more tentacles up. The dead time's the best time to get this 4 down, though, before you have other things to worry about. There they are. There's the Death Glares. So again, Mind Flay, make sure you're healing through that. A Mind Flay plus the eye hitting you, that's really going to do a ton of damage. And then, of course, you still have your tanks tanking the Nightmare Horror, which is going to be hitting them pretty hard as well. So again, I'm fixated. I need to move to the eye without standing in corruption. We aren't quite ready for that yet, though, so I want to come back and start healing my tank. Corruptor Tentacles are up. And I'm going to keep focusing on my tanks. So I see some other people going down. You can see debuff on me there. Cleanse it off. Now we're going to need to get these down and get these underneath. At this point, I actually called out to my tank, hey, bring them a little bit closer, you're out of my range. Always important to communicate that, especially if they're tanking that kind of far away. So now we have some more. So now, see, we had stuff in Nightmare's End way too early, technically. It's hard to get around that without just killing the Ichors away from the eye here in phase 2. So now we're going to get down the Corruptors. No more Ichors will spawn, thank goodness. And we need to get down the Nightmare Horror as well. But see, the Cursed Blood is going to happen to you anyway, so you really need to spread out even on this phase. You can't be together even if you're not inside there. So you see a ton of damage. We were able to get it down though and get inside. The heart didn't have much health left anyways. I had the Cursed Blood on me, so I just didn't even go inside. Actually, I didn't have it on me, but I just didn't want to run inside and ruin it for everybody. So I come back inside now, plus our 2 AoE healers are in there. So I'm going to actually go inside and try to help a little bit. This time I do have it on me, so I could have stayed out again if I wanted to. Just make sure I don't hit anybody. And that's it. We got that done. Everybody, thumbs up and sub, and have a good one.